Hi everybody, I am Lady Stars of Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa, and this is the weekly healing messages for October 30th through November 5th. I'm running a little bit late. For some of you, you realized that I had been on vacation and we were coming home from Salem, Massachusetts, and more or less that took like an 11-hour drive for us to get home. It was just a strange little situation. It took forever. Spirit had its own intentions with that, which is why it took forever. But with that being said, I'm glad to be home. I'm glad that we had a wonderful trip, but it's nice to be home. On top of that, everybody who sent or knew that I had started asking for healing for my baby cat Doodle. I love my Doodle. I love Neptune too, but Doodle was the one who happened to be acting like he was sick when I got information. And I asked for healing because he's my baby. So I'm a little more emotionally attached. So I needed help there. And for all of you who sent him healing, I appreciate it and I thank you. Much love to all of you. As well as he's feeling much better, and truthfully, I think he just missed his mommy. But with that being said, happy Halloween to everybody. Samhain, All Saints Day, however it is that you see it and view it for the holiday. I hope that you have a blessed one. But with that, too, I want to remind you we're moving into November. And November is an 11 month, 1-1, okay? But we're also, people always say, think of like the extra powerful energy coming in on 11/11. Yes, that's a powerful day because of the number sequence. Don't forget, 11/1 is still 111. That's another powerful day right after Halloween. So you've got very powerful energy coming in this week. Spirit hasn't given me, well, they've given me a ton of information, but I've got so much coming in from every different direction that I kind of mellowed it back out, and I'm just going with, I'm really getting out, really unfolding, unweaving, new patterns being, you know, worked through basically, which is going to move us into a new rebirthing. But it's the new weaving, the new pattern shaping, the new unfolding of these energies as we move through this week that will help support where we're going to be moving in that new birthing of energy. I didn't do a rune cast because of all of the energy, but I will admit I do when I do the astrology, I read the aspects, and I'm going to. However, there is from time to time where Spirit kind of is just like, no, forget that. This right here, that's where the energy is. And I normally don't show you, and I don't know if you really can see it, but like in the astrology all week long, right where I have my thumb, that's really like a diamond. And then they're showing me a diamond inside of it. They're highlighting these energies. And all of this energy I'm getting kind of is like a Loki kind of energy that's going to be reweaving us throughout this week. And it has to do with Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Mars, Ceres, Venus, and Make. And don't forget that Make has to do with our collective consciousness. And the Lotus flower, actually both Make and Haumea, because they're both in Libra. Now that Venus is in retrograde, has moved back into Libra. This week, I'm getting a lot of this powerful energy coming out of that specific diamond. However, I'm going to go into the aspects, but I'm giving you what Spirit is telling me. A lot of that has to do with that weaving that is taking place in those upper universal houses from 7th through 12th. Basically, if you follow the astrology at all and understand any of that, it might be helpful to you. Don't forget, on this week we have Mercury moving into Sagittarius on Halloween. We also have Venus moving back into Libra on Halloween as well. Uranus next week is moving back into Aries. And then that's all taking place, especially Uranus moving back into Aries, because that's going to be a powerful energy as it jumps back into that universal first house. But it's going to be taking place right before the new moon, which is going to be bringing some of this energy into fruition, or at least directing it so that it will eventually come into fruition. It'll start bringing it more into a tangible energy. May not be something you'll see just yet, but it will start directing it in that way. I am being told, you know, like I said, it has to do with that Loki energy, but it is unfolding new patterns, weaving is basically what I'm getting with it. Now, I'm going to give you the staples for the week, which are the most important things in aspects. and then I'm going to get back out of your life. So Uranus, I mean, first off, you have a grand trine all week. You had it last week, and it's still going to remain, and it might be remaining for a little bit. I didn't go that far into the future. Sorry, been on vacation. Chiron, which is in Pisces, in retrograde, is speaking to Jupiter, which is in Scorpio still, and it is speaking to the North Node. So you've got a major amount of abundance coming out of Scorpio's energy. That's the rebirthing anyway. That's the life, the death, the rebirth. It is the fertility. It is the magic of life, the mystery of rebirthing, that goes with it all. And Jupiter amplifies and magnifies it, but it is speaking in a harmonious way with the wounded healer. So it's asking you for the gatekeeper of wholeness to give you the keys and speak to the North Node about what it is you need to learn in order to move forward. And that's in a creative universal fifth house of Leo. So it's speaking of our creative energy, but it's also speaking of our nobility within that creative energy, because Leo is the lion. It's the king of the jungle, but the king is not just responsible to himself. He's responsible to the kingdom. So we're speaking of your own personal kingdom and getting the gatekeeper of wholeness to give you the keys to reopen it in a healthy way. This is a positive energy that's coming from Jupiter for rebirthing it, because Jupiter and Chiron are definitely the ones in a power play here. Then you also have T-square, this is where it's a little bit more of a conflict. Uranus, your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your self-worth, your self-value, and your self-esteem, because we're in Taurus, is speaking with Venus, which is now moved back into Libra. It's not any longer talking about the responsibilities within the relationship. It's talking about the relationship, point blank. And where is it not in balance, and how do we recognize this, and how do we find out how to create proper balance again? And it is also having a conversation with that North Node. So your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem is in question of the relationship itself. And how is it we go about making it healthy and correct as we move forward? So these are very powerful energies this week in general, sitting on top of one another, because they're both coming down on that North Node. Now, Venus this week, I'm just going through the energies of where Venus, Ceres, and Make. Haumea might as well be considered in it too, because it's still going to absorb that Libra energy. Make is, I'm liking it backward. Make is your collective consciousness. Haumea, I think Make is actually where you feel like you're on the lotus flower. Are you still in the muddy, murky water? Are you starting to surface and break through the water, or are you finally blooming? And then Haumea, I believe, is the collective consciousness. This is the powerful energy that's coming out of the Kuiper belt within Libra. Now speaking to Ceres as well, which is karma. It's the threefold theory. It's nurturing, or showing you where nurturing has not been, okay? Where it's lacking. Within those self-worth, those self-values, those self-esteems, eating disorders, child neglect. Where is nurturing either found or neglected? Because this is going to be the energy that is talking about in Libra, now speaking to that Venus retrograde. Okay? And like I said, Venus in retrograde is all about trying to go, where are you not viewing things right? Where are we not coming from the right soulful beauty of life? And where have these things jacked us up along the way? Okay, so we can get unjacked up. We can unfuck ourselves over, basically. And Venus that's what she's doing this whole retrograde. Now she's in Libra. She's not talking about specific situations anymore. She's speaking about your relationships in general. Of all things, you have a relationship with who you care about, your family, your friends, your loved one, your children. But you also have a relationship with your working environment, with your bosses, with your co-workers, with, where you live, your neighbors, your money. If you have no money, you know about your relationship with no money. Anything you care about, you have a relationship with. So Venus is getting really sensitive on how we view these things, how it is that we like them or don't like them, and why is it we do or don't, and how is it we can have more or get rid of within our life so that we can get what we are truly looking for. Venus with Sirius is talking about, that nurturing or lack of nurturing, or how can we correct it because it wasn't right. And then we're talking about where are we on that development of the lotus flower, as well as the very collective consciousness of truly understanding the deeper picture of it. And she's squaring the North Node. So the North Node is trying to tell you what you need to do in order to move forward, but your sensitivities might be fighting it. But you know in your heart and soul what you need to do. So stick with that. Okay? Mars it's trining Mars, all of these energies are. In Aquarius, which speaks to us of, I like to call Aquarius the fireworks. You don't know when they go off what you're going to see. You don't know what pretty colors they're going to be. You don't know what the design's going to be. You're never really sure with Aquarius energy what you're going to get. It could be it could be, Aquarius is the one is the rebel within that's willing to take on City Hall. Okay, all by themselves. But with Mars, you add the warrior into it. You add passion, aggression, fire, action, sexual energy into it. All of that, sacral chakra energy is being added to that energy. But this is also coming into the outer community as well as the 7th house of relationships in general for Mars. Neptune is asking you to create with new healthy magic, not from nostalgic magic that's reminding you of what you wished for but maybe didn't get. And there's a point there, because a lot of that energy is going to be still coming up. I told you that you were getting a lot of background past energies from years and years ago. Some is from 6 to 8 years ago. Some was from like 1982 to 1988 years ago. Those energies that are returning are to help you see where something wasn't quite right, where you didn't view it quite well. It didn't turn out exactly right. This is all about helping us go back into the nostalgia, see what wasn't created quite right, and then flip it. We don't want to do the same thing, but we want to learn from our mistakes. And Saturn is being sextiled. So the idea of being able to put your foot down and start to change these rules, walls, and boundaries in healthy ways is just a positive thing, as long as you're going for that energy. But you got to be willing to try, or you're not going to go anywhere. Now, you also have the sun, which is in Scorpio, where Jupiter still is, so it's still magnified, okay? Your illumination itself, your shine itself, your ego itself, how you're viewed by others in Scorpio is showing the ability to rebirth the very shine that you are, as well as, bring out some of that positive sexual energies too, because of that creative sexual change that is fertility, part of the mystery of Scorpio. Sun is illuminating this energy, but it's squaring Lilith. It is going to be getting into the ego and really trying to pinch you in uncomfortable ways. Lilith, being in a square in Aquarius, is going to be pointing out things in that outer community that you don't like. And are you going to take that egotistically or soulfully? Because it is dealing with the sun. You're going to be noticed for it either way. It's why I'm saying it. Now, it is also trining Neptune. So it's helping you bring that shine into the creativeness of how you can change and bring that magic into your life as you're trying to make these new rebirths. As long as you didn't let Lilith's energy turn around and become egotistical and kind of go against you. Now, it's also sextiling Pluto and Vesta. So it's like being the blessing of the soulful change. The blessing of the soulful change. Pluto is death, decay, instruction for rebirth, renewal, regeneration. It's all it wants, ever, is for you to change and soulfully mature and grow forward. On top of Vista, it's the soul fire. So it's giving you like the blessing of power to go forth. Okay? Now, you also have Mercury in the house of Sagittarius of the 9th house. I'm going to learn to talk one day. So I see this more of a higher self, soulfully being able to communicate and speak with Lilith. in Aquarius because it's sextiling it. So it's able to communicate positively with that egotistical energy that comes out of Lilith. That nobody's going to make me do a damn thing I don't want to do, because that's the energy that's coming out of Lilith, and it's still close to that north-south node. So these are energies we've gotten good at, not necessarily serving us well. Okay, and it's the Mercury's communication is sextiling it in a way to kind of manipulate it into a positive way if you're letting your finesse of that Mercury energy come up in a positive way. Just don't word vomit it and you'll be all right. Pluto and Vista is also sextiling Neptune. Again, another blessing for recreating. Point blank, it's another blessing for recreating. But this week, because, like I said, it's a very powerful week, and I'm being given, the weaving energy, that Loki kind of energy. Sorry, I got a hair in my mouth. That Loki kind of energy as we reshape and build new patterns and unfold and weave our new direction in that kind of Loki energy. Don't forget, as we move through the week, the moon itself starts out with us going from Halloween and November 1st in Leo. So Leo is very dramatic. Leo is, very dramatic. It is compassionate, but it can be a little overly dramatic. I mean, in that sense, we can kind of, is the best way of putting it. It's the only words that are coming into my mouth right now is the dramatic. But Leo energy over these 2 days, Halloween and November 1st, is going to be very high energy, basically. You've got that fire, passion energy that's coming from Leo with the moon as it communicates with everybody. Then the moon is going to be moving into, on the 2nd and 3rd, into Virgo, where we're more a little organized. We're more a little, let me pick it apart, let me re-pattern it, let me redesign it, and see what works best for us. It's the finger pointer. What works and what doesn't. Let's move this. Let's get rid of that. Let's fix this. That's the, it's the Virgin. The Virgin doesn't know how to cut corners. It only wants to do things right. Okay? So you're emotionally going to be moving through, how is it that I need to do things right? Okay? As we go into the 2nd and 3rd. And then as we go into the 4th and the 5th, the moon is coming up and entering Libra. This is going to be powerful energy as we go through Sunday and Monday. Because you have the moon in Libra, but don't forget, you now have Venus retrograde in Libra. You have Ceres in Libra. You have Haumea in Libra. And you have Make in Libra. Right there is your collective consciousness in all corners of your life. From your sensitivity to the very collective consciousness to the threefold and karma coming in. All of that. So it's all going to be bringing to this weekend when it moves you forward. I love you. Have a very blessed holiday. Bye.